You already know what it is. Come on. Yeah. Woo.
The hottest hits.
Hot 106.
All right, Mike D from Hot 106 back here again with, I'm going to call her our champion because she's 2-0 after her previous visits here at Hot 106 at Rough and Rowdy. She's going for 3-0 this Friday night by rnr.com. Vicky D back in the building. What's up, Vicky D?
What's up, guys? Back again right before weigh-in. It's tradition.
I mean, I feel like it has to be tradition at this point, right?
Yeah, always get that win, too.
And a little, yeah, exactly. So 2-0 after visiting us. We like to hope to think that we're the good luck charm. Mike, so a little behind the scenes here. After your fight in Providence back in December at the AMP, you basically came right up to me because we were ringside. You came right up to me right afterwards. You were like, yeah, I'm already set for like March. I'm good to go. So how did that go about? Because was that something pre-planned before your last fight, or did they just come to you right then and be like, yeah, you're coming back?
So my plan was, like, I'm going to put on a really good performance. I'm going to show up. And, like, we were talking with the promoter, Jerry, and he was like, yeah, if we like you guys, we'll have you back. Absolutely. They kind of, like, build these people up, these certain characters, like Shizat the Rizat or Hot Wheels, like certain people that they like.
The Ninja, we had a couple of them last time, yep.
Yep, so that put on like a really good show. They'll put them on the flyers, they'll promote them, and they kind of become like the Rough and Rowdy people. So my goal was just to show up and put on a good show. So I knew that I was going to have another fight, I just didn't know who. And so they've been wanting me to fight Cherry Bomb, like their champion, since I did Rough and Rowdy 3 years ago.
Wow.
And I was a lot smaller back then, she was a lot bigger. And I was just like, it didn't seem like a good idea. I also didn't want to lose my amateur license at the time. And they kind of set me up walking out there like, she called out Cherry Bomb and Alex Bennett. I was like, I did call out Alex Bennett, but I would fight Cherry Bomb. And then at the end, they're like, will you fight Cherry Bomb? And like at the end, when you're done fighting, you're like, I'll take on Godzilla.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Adrenaline pumping.
But I was like, yeah, I'll take on anyone. Bring me Cherry Bomb. So they did. And, I was like, what? It's a good match. I watched her film, and I don't think she's a good fighter. I think that she just throws really wild punches, and she throws a lot of punches. So I've prepared myself for that, and I took the fight.
Yeah, and that's part of the, you had mentioned to me a little bit before we did the interview, there was some criticism like, oh, she doesn't have a lot of power. But Rough and Rowdy, I mean, we've seen how these fighters come out. They get gassed quick. So right. How much is your conditioning going to play into your fight coming up on Friday?
Yeah, so you listen to like the interviews and like the comments, like when I'm fighting, they're like, whoa, she doesn't run out of energy. You have to think like we're training with pro athletes, 3 minutes each, 6 minute rounds. 6 rounds, 3 minutes each. Like our gas tank is a lot better than these people that don't really train to be an athlete. So I think like going into it, like as far as gas goes, I'm fine for 1 minute rounds. Yeah.
Well, because you're used to like fuller, like longer fights.
Right, yeah. Which, I mean, it is a different pace. Like now you have a minute, you have 60 seconds to just let it all out. Adrenaline, crowd. It does take a toll. Like people are like, oh, 1 minute rounds. But I mean, it does hit a little different. But again, I am very conditioned to go a minute.
Exactly, which is good. And it is fight week. You got weigh-in coming in. As we're filming this, is going to be tomorrow. This is Wednesday. You're going to be doing the weigh-in tomorrow. But the promotion's been pretty dope because you're on the flyer. Like, you're one of the main events, and that's got to be crazy because
I am the main event.
You are the main event. So we got the main event here, Vicky D, and you're right. If you look at the flyer, you are front and center, right in the middle of it. That's got to feel pretty good. Does that put any added pressure to you at all, or?
Well, we just had an interview with Large yesterday from Barstool, and he pointed out that although, like, I did have a main event 3 years ago, it was under a different, like, promoter, and they just kind of ran Rough and Rowdy a little different the first time I did it. They also gave me a belt, but it doesn't count because it wasn't, like, a weight class belt. So they're not counting it. So they're like, this is the first ever women's main event title fight. So it's kind of, it's pressure, but it's also, like, an honor to have that. Obviously, like, I've always kind of stood on, like, trying to be an influence for like younger girls, and so for me to have that platform to be like, hey, it's the first female fight title shot is awesome.
And it's so funny because we think back to the first Rough and Rowdy, and I remember some of your promo videos. You were such a different person then. Like, I don't want to use the term like you look like quiet, but like you surprised, you're timid. You surprised a lot of people, and now here we are so many years later, and you're going into your third fight. Like how much progress, not only just in the ring, but just as your confidence goes, the whole brand of Rough and Rowdy being a part of the whole thing, how much of that have you feel like you've improved on?
I feel like the last time I just embraced Rough and Rowdy. What is it? It's fun. It's entertainment. It's not so much pressure of like I don't want to say a real fight, but like I kind of took that pressure off of myself, and I'm like, I'm here to almost like put on a show, put on like it's like a party, right? So we had a really good time with it, and I think that built my confidence. And then obviously, like, just over the years, I was fresh into college when I first did my first Rough and Rowdy, and now today, like, I don't let comments bother me. Like, there's so many comments under the first Rough and Rowdy.
Oh yeah.
They're like so much talking.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, that's fine. We just for internet. We got editing.
And I'm just like, now I'm like, okay, great. Well, that was 3 years ago. You don't know me. You weren't there. And those kind of comments don't bother me. So as far as that goes, like, I've definitely grown a lot as a person there.
Well, I just feel like, I've been following Barstool from day one, and the comments can be a little toxic, I mean, they could be very toxic, and everybody sitting at home always thinks that they can do a better job or that there's somebody better out there.
Mostly they're coming off the couch, too.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In the gym before.
Right.
They're like, oh, well, you suck.
Exactly. They like wake and bake, and they're just like, oh, yeah, this person's terrible.
Awful fighter.
Exactly. But that's so funny. But so you talked about it being a show. We saw your intro, your whole team, because there was another person from your gym. I can't think.
Damani.
That's right.
Yeah.
When he came out, you guys.
Fighting again.
Perfect. So you guys had the whole like Game of Thrones thing going down last time because he fought the dragon.
Yeah. And they were like, he's like the Undertaker.
That was, which was great.
I'm kind of jealous of that entrance. It's pretty cool.
But like this time around, this is gonna be your first Rough and Rowdy, not with your home crowd. Mm-hmm. So how does it feel going into where it all began, West Virginia, where this
her hometown.
Her hometown.
Yep. And she doesn't fight out of West Virginia. Like, she's only ever fought in her hometown. So
that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, they're calling it cowardly.
Yeah, that's a little cowardly. Cherry bomb.
Yesterday she said that no one's challenged her out of her hometown, but I know that's not true. So
well, let's see. And it'll be interesting though when we expect you to become victorious on Friday, whether or not she would want to take a rematch back here in Providence.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah,
I like that.
We
might have to put that right. We might have to put that out there and to manifest that into the universe. But so what's that feel like? Because you've been in other fights before outside of Rough and Rowdy, but your first Rough and Rowdy outside of Providence. You go in our hometown. It's in West Virginia. It's a whole different world there than it is here in Providence. What is your mindset going into that?
I feel like it could go two ways. Like, I'm expecting boos. I'm in her hometown, but at the same time, I'm like, maybe some people will like me, just my energy. So, I mean, I am prepared to be like the underdog, the boos, but we do have like a little entrance coming out to just be like in the West Virginia. We got cowboy hats.
Oh, okay. Little Yellowstone action.
Yep. And then I got a new fit, so I'm just gonna embrace it. I'm gonna embrace the boos. I'm expecting it, so I'm ready for it. And it's not the same as being in Providence, but it should be fun.
And now going forward, like, win or lose Friday, we're expecting a win again. I don't like to jinx, but I do like to manifest. I do think you're going to be victorious.
Well, I came here, so I must win,
2-0 since you just saying. What's your plans going forward for as far as training goes for Rough and Rowdy? Is this something that you want to continue doing, like some of the personalities and the fighters we continue to see?
Yeah, so I'd like to run with this as long as I can. Obviously, hoping I would win. Regardless, I would love to take a rematch with her outside of West Virginia. Any other opponents, I kind of want to drive it. So I met her at 135. I walk around 132, but I used to fight at 125. So I asked to go even lighter around 130. She couldn't do it. She used to fight middleweight, so that's
that's a lot.
155. Her last opponent was 155. So I was saying let me get this lightweight belt, and then let's create a smaller division that they've never seen before, around 125, 130. Run with that, get 2 belts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you're trying to stack the goals.
I'm trying to stack some belts.
See, I like that. That's
That's my goal. Then we create this women's division. We got middleweight, lightweight. I don't know what's under that. Is it featherweight or flyweight?
You got featherweight, flyweight. You got bantamweight. There's so many different weight classes now. It's hard to keep track of.
Creating belts and then creating a brand too. I'm running with this badass chicks thing. They love it. So.
Well, that's great because like you said, you want to also be a mentor to girls because your first Rough and Rowdy, you were 19, right?
Yep.
You were 19 years old and you're building this into a brand. It's not just as far as what you can do in the ring, which is obviously you're extremely talented, you're well conditioned, you train really hard, but you're turning it into a brand. And
badass chicks, we're all some badass chicks that want to go in the ring. How many girls want to do that? Slim. People.
Right, exactly.
Pads,
right.
Everyone wants to get punched in the face.
Everybody wants to get fit, but not everybody wants to get punched in the face, which is a big difference.
Even win or lose, that's impressive.
That, absolutely is impressive. And you know, you mentioned before, because after your last fight, right away, adrenaline was pumping. Cherry Bomb was the call out. You mentioned Alex Bennett. I think she replied to it. Didn't she say something like?
Yeah, she did tweet about it. She's like, I would need like 4 months to prepare, and I would maybe think about it. And, I mean, this is a fight that I knew she probably wouldn't take.
Right.
It was like she was 130, I was 130. She had a pink belt, and I was like, I want that pink belt.
Yeah, the pink belt's kind of fire.
I
Yeah.
can stack them, right? And I just knew it wasn't going to happen, but she might have me on her podcast, which would be pretty cool. And we're just kind of like banter back and forth on how she was like, yeah, I'm not fighting you.
Yeah, but like, would you call her out like now?
Oh, 100%. If she would take the fight, I would do it. We're the same weight.
Right.
Both blondes. We're like, let's run with this. And I mean, she's only fought once. I fought a few times, but technically we're both amateur fighters with a little bit of training. I think like.
I just look at it similar to Cherry Bomb. Like, she won't fight anybody out of West Virginia.
Yeah.
She's only 1-0. She's got to prove it at least one more time. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's the next one.
Yeah, I know. She got a belt right off the rip.
That's kind.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got to defend it. Mm-hmm. We respect a defending champ around here.
I agree. I would still take that fight and still want that fight. So.
All right, Alex Bennett. I don't know. You might have your next fight here. We'll give her 6 months.
6 months, yeah. So maybe when they come back to Providence in December.
That's right.
I don't know if that's 6 months, but.
Well, regardless, that's even longer.
Yeah.
We'll give her 9 months.
Even better. In Providence.
There you go.
It's her home, too. Actually, no, she's not from Boston, but.
Well, regardless, I mean, Providence feels like hometown for Barstool anyways, and that's why they always want to come back. Shout out to Rough and Rowdy. Shout out to Jerry. Was super dope for us last time you guys were in town. But that's great. You know, you mentioned the interview you did with Large. Cherry Bomb took a different approach this time.
Yeah, she's going with a humble approach. I know she's like a nice woman. I don't know much about her, but like I've seen her other videos where she's pushing people at
because it's like you said, it's kind of a character. Like you're playing it up.
And she's supposed to be this tough gun shooting girl. Like her call out video, she was like just shooting some guns at the water, and I was like, well, you won't have those in the ring,
right?
Okay. And then at our interview, there was no talk of guns or aggression, so we'll see. But I'm ready for like a push at the weigh-in, just in case. Like I feel like that's coming. So.
And you're gonna have your whole team there with you too, so you don't got to worry about anybody else stepping in.
So it'll be fun.
That's awesome. Shout out to Large and the crew. We had a blast when it was here in Providence. I'm definitely going to be tuned in on Friday. You should too. Buy RNR.com. The main event right here. Vicky D, Rhode Island's own, going to West Virginia to fight Cherry Bomb.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to West Virginia, take her belt, come back to Rhode Island, and fight again.
And then you're gonna have to come back.
Yes.
Just because I want a picture with the belt.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, we got to get a picture with the belt. And then in December, she's going to take Alex Bennett's pink belt.
Yes.
Bang.
Let's manifest that.
I'm doing it right now. This is what we're going to do. We're going to share this, and we're going to get some traction behind that.
Okay, awesome.
You hear that, Large? You hear that, Jerry? We're making it happen.
We still want that fight.
That's right. Vicky D, thank you so much. Looking forward to your fight on Friday. Buy RNR.com. See you guys soon.
Bye, guys.
You already know what it is. Come on. Yeah.
The hottest hits.
Hot 106.